Hey, what's up, guys? I'm RoberOnocle, or as you better know me, Rob, and I'm here with my friend Keon. What's up, Keon?
What's up, YouTube, and everyone else listening to this podcast if you're not on YouTube, slip of the tongue. And as you can see by the title, we're talking about Zelda again. Again? Not really again, but we're talking about Zelda. Woohoo!
I mean, it might as well be again. I mean, I can't shut up about, like, anything Zelda on this channel. So, but,
You're right, and we're also going to be doing more Zelda stuff, probably. Cough, cough, and hit spirit tracks.
Yeah. The ride never ends on this channel, but, yeah. So, as you might have seen from the title, we're here to talk about two companies in particular that we feel could be very beneficial to the Zelda franchise. That is Capcom and Monolith Soft. Now, the reason, and, you know, just to give a quick recap, Capcom made 4 Zelda games, and, well, I do feel that, you know, like, the Oracle games and Minish Cap was good. I thought Four Swords was alright, but overall, though, yeah, it was really short. That was really the biggest problem with Four Swords. But, I mean, overall, though, when Capcom made those Zelda games, they just did very, very well with it. Like, they are very, very well-made games. I would argue that they probably do it just a little better than Nintendo can themselves. Also, hey, Markion, you got some, oh, never mind, it went away. Okay, there was, like, some echo for a moment, but then it just, like, quickly disappeared. That's no big. But, yeah, so Capcom is, to be honest, they kind of beat Nintendo at their own game with Zelda, to be honest, because, I mean, it's weird. Like, their overworld is very well designed. When they're making the games, they clearly know what they're doing. Albeit, the lore for the Oracle games was a little off. It was weird-ish, because it was directed by, you know, not Eiji Aonuma, but a different director. But overall, though, the director still had a good idea of how to make a Zelda game and how to go about it. And yeah, and it showed in Oracle of Ages, Oracle of Seasons, Minish Cap, and even Four Swords. Also, albeit like we said, that game was a bit lackluster. And the reason why we bring up Monolith Soft is because, well, Zelda has now, well, rather, Eiji Aonuma has let us all know that he wants to make more open world Zelda games like Breath of the Wild, the game I covered like a month ago. And the concern with that is I wouldn't call Breath of the Wild, Breath of the Wild is very, very far from the worst game I've ever played. It's so far off, but it has a lot of issues. It has a lot of issues that are just, it's weird to me, like, that they're there. And the way I'm thinking of it is, and me and Keon, let's keep the nicknames here. But me and Keon here have,
a little hard, though.
Pardon?
I said it's a little hard, I understand.
Oh, yeah. Me and Keon have been talking for a while about how we feel Capcom, with a combined effort from both Capcom and Monolith Soft, they could really bring the Zelda series back on its feet again. Because Breath of the Wild does have some good things going for it, do not get me wrong. I mean, I had my review and everything, and it was a little hostile towards the game, just a little bit. But, Breath of the Wild definitely had some ambitions, and with the right team, they could turn into something amazing. But, you know,
godlike.
Yeah, something godlike. Because if you don't know who Monolith Soft is, if you ever heard of Xenoblade Chronicles, because that's a franchise that people haven't been able to shut up about since it showed up back in, what was the Xenoblade Chronicles, the first one?
Examples, but
I'm sorry.
Yeah, definitely one of the best examples of, like, Monolith Soft games, Xenoblade X. But definitely, just, if you haven't heard of it, just check out Xenogears. I mean, not Xenogears. I think Xenogears is by Monolith Soft. But if it isn't, then check out. It's called Xenosaga. I think there's only 2 games of it. Nice open world RPG, good game. But yeah. Just throwing out more examples.
If I'm not mistaken, Monolith Soft is responsible for all the Xeno games. I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. But yeah, they have a good track record with open world games. And, you know, just a few years ago, I used to play the crap out of Xenoblade Chronicles X, and that was a very, very well-made game. Although, I feel that the original games...
Oh, yeah. Spamming Magnum Edge.
Although, I do feel that the original game story is better. I mean, X's story is still good, and it has many sub-stories within, you know, all this pool of side quests that you could do. So, like, when you're exploring around, it feels very meaningful. But, you know what? I'm getting a little ahead of myself here. As usual, we would like to start with the guest opinion first, since Keon said that he has a lot to say about it, and I'm interested in hearing what he has to say. So, Keon, what are your thoughts, you know, with Capcom and Monolith Soft and Zelda?
Man, when you just bring up Capcom and Zelda, I just think of, like, spending a big chunk of my 9th grade year playing Minish Cap for the first time. And one of the things that blew me away were, you know, some of the side quests, some of the things involving the kinstone mechanic. The kinstone mechanic. That was a really good, like, side quest, kind of open up. It was sort of like a trading kind of deal in a way, but it's opened up, like, some parts of the world, depending on, well, like, some secrets, depending on, like, who you traded kinstones with.
Right.
And it really encouraged, like, exploration, because, you know, you had to, like, go out and find the certain people to fuse those kinstones with. Using that exploration, where you go out and fuse the kinstones, alongside Monolith Soft's, like, big open world, just how good they are with it, that would be a good adventure. Great adventure, in my opinion.
Indeed. Oh, and by the way, I just realized we both played Minish Cap in our freshman year. I just noticed that. I never.
Ironic.
Yeah, we both did it in our freshman year, which you know, hey, that makes it cooler. So, you know,
make it really cool,
more relatable. So we both have our, you know, our memories from the game around the same time, which that's cool. So yeah, so I could definitely agree that, you know, because, you know, by the time Minish Cap showed up, like you were mentioning, you know, with the whole kinstones, and they were basically the whole side quest pool in Minish Cap. But I mean, let's be honest, the side quests made Minish Cap. And to be honest, it was so fun. You know, like, to go about.
Side quest was red.
Yeah, you know, to go about, talk to these people, and, you know, draw connections. Like, okay, you have that piece, all right. And, you know, even when you were grinding for kinstone pieces, it was never too long. Like, it was a good, maybe, like, what, 2 to 5 minute grind. You know, it was never too bad.
Yeah,
although
you can find them in grass.
Yeah, although there were a few pieces that were just a pain to get. Cough, call, red kinstone pieces. But I swear, some of those pieces, they were like near impossible to find. And it was insane, especially since people who had the kinstones, because, you know, like, the game, like, it was weird how they did the kinstone thing. It was cool, though, how, like, the kinstone pieces move from, like, NPC to NPC in real time, sort of. So, you know, like, if you find an NPC with, like, a kinstone piece, you know, you don't want to take too long, because it might end up in someone else's hands, because the kinstones is something that gets traded around, which, that is very cool, actually. For a 2005, cool. Yeah, for a 2005 Game Boy Advance game, I mean, that's cool. Like, there's no denying that.
Really cool. Real time.
And, you know, I guess the thing that really makes the rewards with, you know, like, Capcom's, or really any of Capcom's Zelda games, but, you know, like, especially Minish Cap, because Minish Cap is definitely, like, the peak of Capcom's game design. It's just it is just so well done. But, what makes it so satisfying is that, you know, some side quests, they have a bit of a build-up, so you have to get more than one kinstone piece to add to a specific side quest. But the rewards at the end just tend to be very worth it. Like, either you get, you know, for the simpler kinstone side quest, you'll get, like, say, 200 rupees, or you get
like, rupees and stuff.
Yeah, and, you know, maybe in some cases, maybe some more important stuff, like, there's one for, like, a bottle, I believe. Yeah, the one with the Gorons.
Bottle.
That was a cool one. And you know, other stuff, like maybe and sometimes you could get kinstone pieces to get rare kinstone pieces, so you can, you know, further get the better loot. And, you know, some kinstone side quests even, you know, like, open, you know, like you were saying, open up the world and made, you know, certain options that weren't available before available now, which was very cool. Like opening up mini games, or the whole deal with the oracles, and, you know, getting a house for 2 of the 3 oracles, and that was pretty cool.
Yeah.
And even how, like, the kinstones could, like... I'm sorry, what were you going to say? I didn't want to cut you off.
No, I was just saying that there's, like, just so much stuff you could do with the kinstones. It's just such a... It just opens possibilities, you know?
Yeah, it's insane, and like we said, it's kind of impressive. For, like we said, it's a very... Minish Cap is a very impressive game.
Indeed.
And, you know, there's also other... And there was, Oh, there was also the Kinstone side quest that influenced NPCs too to like do certain things, you know, open certain businesses. It was overall the Kinstone side quest. It was a very good idea. I mean, honestly, if I were to be completely honest, Minish Cap probably has the best side quest of any Zelda game. To be honest, I mean, Majora's Mask was pretty good, but I just feel, you know, for the overall rewarding feel, Minish Cap knocks it out of the park. Like, it is so rewarding to play that game. So we've pretty much cleared it up with Capcom. So, Keon, how do you feel about, you know, Monolith Soft? Because, we didn't quite get into that territory too much yet.
I want Link to spam Magnum Edge. No, I'm kidding. I feel that what Monolith Soft could do is, like, they could definitely, like, put a real-time kind of action RPG feel on the franchise. Well, actually, no, it's kind of an odd idea, but... Well, I mean,
it gets sort of cut. Well, Breath of the Wild's real time isn't so much in the combat.
Like, they can have like certain moves within like the combat, you know, like arts, kind of like what they have in Xenoblade. But like you manually control the sword, like in normal Zelda, but you also get stuff like arts that you can use, say like backslash or something from Xenoblade and stuff like that.
Right.
I think that would kind of work well.
I mean, heck, I think even like with just adding upon what you were saying, they could even add like a combo system, you know, like swing your sword in different directions, you know, results in a different, you know, outcome. Because, you know, typically with Zelda, it's, you know, one swing, a second swing, and, you know, typically an alternate third swing, you know, that, you know, typically just comes out differently, which that works. But, you know, say like you know, you press left, he swings left, press right, swings right, then you press forward, and he does like maybe like a lunge or something. I hit my arm on my chair. Or you know, like on the last swing, you know, like press left, swings left, press right, swings right, then press forward, then like he lunges forward. You know, just something cool like that, because that way they can enter the arts thing. I'm sorry, what were you gonna say?
I was saying just something to make the combat more in depth. What I would love to see is something like a launcher, like in a fighting game, like you just slash, knock him up and do like an alternate hit that like knocks him away or something. That would be sick.
Yeah, that'd be really cool, especially now that we have Breath of the Wild, which is a futuristic Zelda game. So, I mean, they could get away with stuff like that now. So, you know,
they're really good.
Yeah. Actually, yeah, there's no excuse, Nintendo. Breath of the Wild, the sequel. Come on, let's do that. All right. But
Breath of the Wild, the sequel, make it good.
Yeah. But yeah. So, you know, the whole arts thing, because, you know, you definitely don't want to do it too much where it feels like Monolith Soft was just making a Xenoblade 3, because, you know, because then that would just feel off. But
it wouldn't feel much like a Zelda game.
Yeah, because they'd be like, hey, am I playing Zelda, or am I playing, you know, Xenoblade Chronicles X -1, because it's like it's modern, but it's not quite modern yet? Kind of.
X -1, what am I? I'm just going to wait for opponents to turn into a Skell or something.
Right.
Like a Zelda game.
But yeah,
they definitely shouldn't.
Yeah, but you know, like taking that arts idea you had, I definitely feel that they could get away with that and make it, you know, very satisfying if they implemented a combo system. You know, a bit of muscle memory, you know, and you know, for like a fighting game, like, you know, genre veteran such as yourself would, you know, quickly, I know, take a liking to that, because you're all about beating the crap out of the opponent, opponent in, like, you know, like the most efficient way possible. So I know that's like right up your alley and such. And for me, well, I gotta get good. So, you know,
gotta get good. There's no problem. But yeah. Whoops.
So yeah, most definitely. So Keon, is there anything else feel that could be added from Capcom or Monolith Soft that, you know, could just really work in, you know, like the next Zelda game?
Yes, I do. If they're going for an open world exploration, obviously they need to call in both Monolith and Capcom for that map. The maps in Xenoblade Chronicles and Xenoblade Chronicles X. I actually hear that Xenoblade Chronicles X's map is actually slightly bigger than Breath of the Wild's map. So yeah, they could get Monolith Soft on that, and they can design most of the map too. Because, you know, just give it that Monolith Soft open world charm, where it's all beautiful and stuff. There's like, it just looks natural, you know?
Right.
And Capcom can, like, you know how Minish Cap was. It was structured very well. Like, One part you over there, you have the Rocky Mountains. Down left, there was like a swamp, a ghost kind of like a haunted mansion or whatever. But I don't really think that was a major part of the map. But yeah, forest. There was rocky areas. There was the lake. There was the swamp. There was just a bunch of things just like sectioned off, and it really flowed well into each other. I really feel that they could get Capcom to do stuff like that, and maybe even get Capcom on dungeon design. Ooh.
Indeed, because their dungeon design, especially if you go back to, I mean, Minish Cap is very good, but, especially when you just look at the Oracle games, especially Oracle of Ages, where those dungeons were very well designed, especially around puzzles and such. I mean, they were geniuses. And I mean, Oracle of Ages might be the first Zelda game where I had to actually sit there and just go like, okay, hold on a second. Had to sit there and really think about the puzzles. Like, I mean, they really are just like that tough. Like, Capcom's puzzles are no joke.
Not in the slightest.
Yeah, it's crazy, and
I'm also gonna have to play those games.
I'm sorry, I didn't quite catch that.
We really cut each other off a lot, but I said I really just got to get to playing the Oracles.
Those are definitely some good Zelda games. Also, I do believe there's a slight bit of I think one of us is slightly late behind the other. I think that's why we keep cutting each other off, because it's getting a bit awkward, but. I mean, what can you really do about that?
We're pulling through, who cares?
Yeah, we're pulling through. It's still working out. So, but yeah, I feel like with the Oracle games are just solid proof that Capcom knows what they're doing. They're making a dungeon, and then Minish Cap is further proof that they know what they're doing. So, and there's that, and they also, especially with Oracle of Ages, they can make a really interesting Zelda story. Because Seasons did have a story, but it wasn't nowhere near as story-focused as Ages, because Seasons wanted to be a bit more like Zelda 1 in a sense, where it was just, more action in it, which I don't have anything against that. But when I saw Ages and such, one of my problem with Ages is that, I jokingly called it last year, like The Legend of Zelda Walking Simulator. There's a whole lot of just walking. There's more walking and, doing puzzles than there is fighting, so it's a little bit of a walking simulator, but it's still a very, very enjoyable game. Definitely put it up as one of the highest rated Zelda games, and it has an awesome finale. And just gonna say, well, you know what? I'll leave it alone, because some people might not want the Oracle spoiled for them, and I'll just tell you this: the final boss is cool. Final boss is cool. I won't mess with that because it does revolve around secrets and a secret, more alternative ending. So I don't want to mess that up for anybody who hasn't played the Oracles yet. The game is the Oracle games is what? Yeah, it's like 16 years old now, but I still think it's worth a play.
Yeah, it came out like 01.
Yeah, basically when we both could barely even speak yet, but those are still some very good games.
Oh man, one thing that came to mind about the dungeons when I said that's like Capcom should design dungeons, one thing that came to mind immediately was boss fights. Boss fights.
Yeah.
Yeah, you need to get Monolith Soft on there.
Yeah, most definitely. I think because Capcom's boss fights, the Oracle games, and the Minish Cap, they're all just really creative. And then you take that creativity and then you hand it over to Monolith Soft to do the finishing touches. And I mean, you can make some pretty epic boss fights. I mean, just saying. Silence.
Cutting out.
Cutting out. Oh.
Cutting out.
Okay, so I can repeat that. Like if you didn't quite catch that. Cause it's just like the podcast and stuff. If there's any errors, I don't really care at all. So,
Alrighty. But I didn't quite get what you asked.
Okay, so let me repeat this. So in both the Oracle games and in the Minish Cap, Capcom's boss fights are just really creative. Like they really went all out with it. And if you take that creativity from Capcom, take the creative concepts and you let Monolith Soft do the finishing touches on it. I mean, you'll have yourself some pretty awesome boss fights. Like
yes.
Like if any of you recall, like, because Capcom, they've made fights like the I don't really know what it is. It's like the one like the cloud tops, and it's like those weird flying stingrays. But that was a really cool boss fight. It was
yeah, you used.
It was kind of weird, but it was cool.
Remember that fight? Heck, even the giant choo-choo in the very first dungeon was a creative boss fight. I mean, I've never seen literally inhaling parts of a boss just so it can fall over so you can beat the crap out of it. I've never seen that.
Right. That was. I mean, Capcom, they made it very, very interesting. Like, they were like, okay, we're making a Zelda game. The stakes are high. Let's do it. And you take that and you give it the over-the-top nature that Monolith Soft has with their boss fights. And I mean, you're talking about some pretty insane fights, creative and insane fights. So we feel that, you know, if they work together, because, you know, with Monolith Soft's, you know, with their skills and Capcom skills, I mean, it would be a dream come true, to be honest.
Dude, those boss fights would like rival those of like Platinum Games boss fights. Like Platinum Games, they make really good beat 'em ups. Sometimes I'm looking at you, Cora, but yeah, they make really good beat 'em ups, and their boss fights, like in Bayonetta 2, are some of the best like ever that I've seen.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure. Huh?
I was just gonna say I haven't played Bayonetta 2, but I have seen the boss fights, and yeah, they are pretty nuts.
Yeah, Monolith Soft and Capcom can make some stuff like that happen. I can actually see those two getting along.
Indeed, and you know, Monolith Soft actually has, you know, had a bit of involvement in the Zelda franchise, but you could kind of tell they didn't have too much of an involvement because Monolith Soft was involved with Breath of the Wild, but you can tell they were there merely as an influence. I mean, I've heard that apparently they just like lended like the Xenoblade engine over, or something like that.
Oh, Xenoblade engine, huh?
Yeah, or something like that. One of their engines, apparently. I mean, I'm not too sure about that, but whatever they did, it was pretty clear that they played a very minor role in the making of Breath of the Wild. I mean, it was more than clear because, you know, Monolith Soft, they make their games a certain way, and you know, when you're playing a Monolith Soft game, you know, it just had that feeling. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you know you're playing a Monolith Soft game.
Yeah, and you know, especially with the and you know, this complaint still lasts. The open fields in Breath of the Wild, where it just feels like there's something that could be there. Because you see, with Xenoblade Chronicles X's, you know, when it's huge open fields, at least the gap gets closed with scales. You know what I mean? Because you know, it doesn't feel like you're just like, oh man,
grind next.
You're just like, oh yeah, let me. You know, it's not like, you know, in Breath of the Wild where it's like, you know, even with the horse is not too fast, and you're just like, hey, let me just spend like the next 15 minutes just running across this field, like.
Gotta run.
And as I've already covered, the horse controls are just awful, so I spend most of my time running in the game just because I hate the horse controls that much. But, you know, with the scale control, because the scale controls felt really good, I feel like they could integrate that into horse controls and make that very, you know, seamless and such, because, I mean, controlling a scale, I mean, it's a bit slippery, but once you get the hang of it, it feels good driving around like Primordia with it. So clearly they know how to make, you know, a travel suit. You know, they know the best way to make, like, you know, fast travel without, you know, opening up the map. You know, fast travel on land, not, you know, opening up a map and hey, I want to go there kind of fast travel.
Yeah.
And it just feels nice and efficient. Because if you're going to make open fields like, you know, the ones you see in Breath of the Wild, you have to make some way to close the gap, or just fill it up with something. Because I understand, you know, like, Breath of the Wild is a post-apocalyptic game in a sense, but it just kind of feels uncomfortable seeing, like, just huge opens of just space where it just feels like something should be there. And I haven't felt that since Twilight Princess, because Twilight Princess felt like it did the exact same thing, except Breath of the Wild did it, you know, way more times than Twilight Princess did. But, you know, not to just, like, you know, just bash on Breath of the Wild for no reason, but I mean, it just feels a little uncomfortable sometimes, because, like, you know, at least like some rock formation, something like that, you know, maybe little mini mountains or hills or something like that, but then you just have this moment of just like
in Xenoblade.
Yeah. But, you know, in Breath of the Wild, you have, like, these several instances of, you know, where there's, like, no enemies at all. Maybe a couple horses hanging around, but who cares about those? And, you know, but it's just like a huge flat piece of land where it's just, like, it looks like something should just be there. And it just makes you, like, every time I run through that...
something to happen.
Right, yeah. Like, you know, like, is there a boss fight here? Because I can understand that if there's a boss fight here because you want plenty of room, but no boss shows up. So you just kind of, you know, as you run through it, you're just feeling really uncomfortable. Like...
Right, and I hear that there's like no music or anything that plays.
Oh yeah, there's a huge lack of. Well, music plays, you know, when you enter villages and stuff, but the moment you leave that village, it's just like pure silence, and it's just weird.
That's very, very not Zelda-like, you ask me. Zelda is one of those games that have like always had music playing.
Yeah, it's like a violation of like law or something. Like it was odd. And you know, people are saying, well, you know, it's supposed to keep you immersed with the world and such. And I can understand, like, if you're sneaking, I expect the music to lower down or go away completely so I can stay focused. If, you know, like, if you're wearing, like, the stealth outfit and you're trying to sneak up on an enemy because, you know, you want to have full concentration. But if I'm just moving about the overworld, you know, exploring stuff, I wouldn't mind some music, even if it was peaceful. But, you know, if it just kicked in, you know, like, just to add to the atmosphere. Because Monolith Soft did the same thing, and hey, it worked. Xenoblade Chronicles is a good example of a, you know, of a big world that had immersive music, and you know, it still played a good role in it.
Plains.
Yeah, Gar Plains or Primordia or, you know, anything of that like, you know, it's all good music.
Mm-hmm.
And
that actually.
Oh, you can keep going. I was just gonna. You can keep going.
Oh, yeah, that actually just made me really, really think back about Hyrule Field. Like, you know, when you're traveling out through Hyrule Field, you're going through that giant just openness to where you go to your next destination. And that's one of those songs that's like one of the songs that you'll be hearing the most, which is the Hyrule Field theme. And, you know, you soon grow attached to it.
Right.
But it's not just that. And, that's just not the only, like, Zelda game that has a theme during the overworld. In fact, all of them do.
Yeah.
Spirit Tracks, you got the full steam ahead. I don't remember. Then in Wind Waker, you have the boat theme. Same with boat theme. I don't know what it's.
The Great Sea.
Yeah, you have that in Wind Waker, Phantom Hourglass. But there's literally just nothing in Breath of the Wild, and that's where I believe Capcom can come in. You know, Capcom. What Capcom game has ever had like bad music other than like Street Fighter 1? You really gotta think about it.
Exactly. Like, you're like, hey, give me 20 minutes and, you know, let me search on Google. I might come back with something. You know, like, I'm probably not gonna really find anything. But yeah, but their music is, you know, good across the board.
It really is.
And that's something even like Zelda couldn't do. Like, you have some Zelda games like Phantom Hourglass's soundtrack. It's all right.
It's kind of generic.
Yeah, like you could, like, it didn't even seem like they tried that much with it. To be honest. And same with
basic.
I think Link's Awakening music just it doesn't really match up to, you know, like the Oracle games, the Oracle series music. It's just, I mean, you have a few duds here and there where, you know, the Zelda music is just it's just not that good, you know. But, you know, at least with Zelda games, you tend to have at least one memorable song. But yeah. But yeah, music. That I'm glad you actually brought that to my attention. Yeah, Capcom is very good with the music, and they could probably do a lot with it. Hey, a collaboration between Capcom's music and Monolith's music. Hey,
Monolith's music.
Check that out.
That would be beautiful.
Check that out.
What's freaking Setsuo Yamamoto and Hiroyuki Sawano finally coming together to make music? That would be something awesome.
Let's do it. Well, that's up to Nintendo, really.
Huh?
I was just saying, that's up to Nintendo where they let. I mean, please. I would hope. I mean, I would be so happy if they announced that.
Dude, that'd be awesome.
Like, any hope that I lost for Zelda would instantly be restored, because I'm like, that's the dream team right there. That's the dream team.
It really is. Capcom Monolith.
Because
heck, we could even.
I'm sorry. Keep going.
We could like how Nintendo did with like sprinkling a little bit of Monolith Soft in Breath of the Wild. They could really just sprinkle in a little bit of Square Enix, just for kicks.
Square Enix actually wouldn't be too bad either, because I mean, because you know, people, you know, when they hear, oh, Square Enix, oh yeah, they're the guys that make the role playing games, but they make more than that, and when they make other stuff, they do it very, very well.
Yeah, and their presentation of their game, they look phenomenal. Like Final Fantasy 15, Final Fantasy 7 Remake, Tomb Raider. Those are some of like the best looking games out. Well, FF7 Remake not out, but still looks good.
The FF7 Remake cut, the whole like trailer for it, I mean, it looked very, very nice. So yeah,
probably one of the best looking games ever.
Yeah, I have no doubt in my mind that it's definitely one of the best looking games out there, and that's just a trailer. Hopefully, the end game, because that's just a cutscene. Hopefully, the end game stuff can actually looks pretty much just as good.
Yeah, they actually do have end game stuff. You can go ahead and check that out.
Oh, I'll have to check that out then. But let's really back to Zelda before we talk about how good looking Square Enix is, and all that. But
let's not get off topic.
Yeah, but talking about Square Enix talents related to Zelda, though, because I've recently been playing through, I was gonna say Rise of the Tomb Raider. I haven't even played that yet. Tomb Raider 2013. They're a reboot. I mean, I've been playing through it and I love it. Like, I've been playing through it, and it has like a bit of a Zelda charm to it also, because you're going through the world, you see these things happen, you go back, you check your map and you see where things are, what new places have opened up, and you go explore. And I'm like, okay, so this is what I really would have liked Breath of the Wild to have been, like this world that feels larger than, because Tomb Raider 2013 is pretty dang huge, and
yeah,
that's what I would have liked Breath of the Wild to be. This linear experience that like, albeit you're following the story in this linear set, the world opens up and it just becomes gradually more interesting, rather than just kind of just dropping the world on you like it does in the final game, which kind of disappointed me a bit. But what's on your mind?
It just reminds me of a good old Capcom game that reminds me of not being able to access worlds parts of the world till you get to a higher rank. Reminds me of a nice, simple little game we like to call Monster Hunter.
Uh-oh.
Here we go. I'm just about to drop Monster Hunter.
Alright, drop the bombs. Let's go.
We dropping bombs out here. In Monster Hunter, there's only a select few locations you can go to, because, well, some of the newer locations are a bit trickier. Like, it's very hard fighting, like, in the dunes or in, like, Frozen Seaway and all that stuff, because, you gotta bring the hot drinks. The maps are kind of weird, and they're obviously suited for, like, well-mannered players. Well-mannered, well-skilled, well-experienced. There we go, that's what I'm looking for. And they really could have done something like that with Breath of the Wild. Like, as you progress through the world, and, like you unlock more parts of the world in Breath of the Wild, the environments sort of get like more difficult, and I'd say there's like newer enemies that show up that's like only in that part of said biome, who can like use the biome to their advantage, like in Monster Hunter World trailer that we see.
Yeah, that was kind of the one of the things of Breath of the Wild that kind of brought it down. There was a huge lack of enemy variety, like.
Yeah, they're just bokoblins.
Yeah, like they recycle like the same like 7 enemies, and like giving them one new ability, and like just changing their color palette and stuff like that. That doesn't make them
and them armor.
That's and giving them like stronger and stronger super armor. But like doing that doesn't really that doesn't really like add variety at all. You're just like, oh, especially in a Zelda game too, because Zelda has a pretty diverse cast of enemies.
It really does.
Like, you just can't add one new feature to an enemy that would, an already existing enemy and call it, new. Like, that's not how that works, like, at all. Like an enemy that actually felt kind of different between different versions. Well, really, it's just kind of 2 versions. I think they kind of, like, switch colors. But, like the Octoroks. They have the ones that hang out in the water, they jump out and pop at you. And then you have the ground Octoroks that move around and kind of, trying to move away from you sometimes. But, like... They felt like they shook it up just a little more than just like, hey, look, I'm a Lizalfo. Hey, now I can breathe fire. Like, okay. I mean, all the fire Lizalfo demands is that you just utilize spacing a little more. But you're always supposed to kind of do that, so it just becomes a little redundant. Like, at least with like the ground Octorok, you kind of have to like chase them around a little bit and stuff. That changes it up a bit, makes it a little interesting. More enemies should have did that. Well, really, they should have just added, new enemies, not just recycle them and call them brand new. Like, what happened to the Dark Nuts?
Yeah. Where are the Dark Nuts? Where are the Iron Knuckles? We've never even seen Iron Knuckles from, like, Ocarina of Time. That's, like, it, right?
maybe Majora's Mask. I don't think they ran Majora's Mask though. I mean, if they were, they were like in like only one spot. I don't even think Majora's Mask though. Like, I think Ocarina of Time might have been like the last time we've seen him.
Yeah, well, we don't have Iron Knuckles. We don't have the Dark Hammers.
And I mean, hey, Calamity Ganon's running around corrupting everything. You might as well, you know, like have Iron Knuckles anyway, since they're corrupted Gerudos. And Ganon is a corrupted Gerudo.
No, all we get right, corrupted Gerudos, man. Where are my Iron Knuckles and my Dark Nuts and my freaking... What are those? Oh, yeah, no, they're still Dark Nuts. Never mind. Twilight Princess. But yeah, they can have those guys, but no, all we have are freaking Moblins, Bokoblins, and Octoroks and Choo-Choos. That's like it. And Lionels.
Right. So I feel definitely in that part, although I do like Capcom's enemy variety in Monster Hunter, it's not as good as Monolith Soft. So that's where they should come in and handle the enemy variety. Because I do like Capcom's enemy variety, but they sort of kind of do the same thing Breath of the Wild. Breath of the Wild is a bigger offender of the whole recycling thing, but you know, with Capcom's, you know, like with their monsters, you know, as you know, you see subspecies of them, they're kind of the same thing, just with, you know, like a new gimmick. Although typically that new gimmick tends to add a whole new layer of strategy they have to be careful around, like the Brute Tigrex, and you know, especially if you're a Charge Blade main, timing those, you know, like guard points better. If you guys don't know what a guard point is, it's basically the game's version of a parry. But yeah, you know, like timing guard points and such. But you know, I just feel that would just be better handled by Monolith Soft. Although if Capcom handled the enemy variety, I would not complain. But then again, you have games like the Oracles and the Minish Cap. So hey, Capcom might be just fine making the enemy variety. So
right. But for some reason, fighting the red Dark Nuts and the black Dark Nuts felt different. Like,
yeah,
honestly, it did.
Yeah, it kind of did. I mean, how are you gonna call yourself a homage to Zelda 1 and you don't even have the Dark Nuts? Like, come on. Yeah, like you brought the Lionels in, but you left the Dark Nuts out. You kept.
Where are the Riz Robes?
Oh, there actually are Wizrobes in Breath of the Wild. They're annoying. They're very annoying.
Oh. Okay.
They're so far in between, though. It doesn't surprise me that you haven't seen them. They're not around a lot, but when they're around, especially the Thunder Wizrobes, those guys are the worst ones. They can They can summon thunderstorms. So, yeah. So if you have any Metal Gear on you, Metal Gear. If you have any Metal Gear on you. If you have Metal Gear, they can summon a thunderstorm and basically just ruin you, you know? Like,
call it a day.
Yeah, I hope you have some other armor, maybe some Amiibo Link armor or something like that. I mean, because otherwise you're gonna have to leave, like fast travel out of there, because you're gonna get struck by the lightning, like you know, you're done.
Yeah, you're gonna just die.
But I feel like I can play another part too, like you know, because I don't feel that enemies were really like, because you know, like. The thing about Monster Hunter that makes it so fun is discovering like the enemy, like where the enemy fails in. You know, like finding out what weapon and what, you know, playstyle works against that monster. And Breath of the Wild, you can't really do that because, you know, well, for one, the enemies kind of have like the same-ish attack patterns. Because, you know, Breath of the Wild try to be unpredictable. Unpredictable. But the only way it's unpredictable is through like the super armor. But the way it's been set up is really, really unfair because there's no way to predict it. And you know, if you're using a greatsword and they super armor that greatsword, I mean, you're done. Like they basically get a free hit on you.
Right, it's not like in Monster Hunter where you can sometimes like knock the monster over.
Right.
Well, actually, yeah, it is probably like that, but you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna go back to bringing up Monster Hunter examples. I probably will.
Hey, go right ahead.
I think. Yeah, in Monster Hunter, monsters have super armor. I mean, it's just obvious. You're just like a dude with like a sword or a hammer or like a gun against like a giant monster who's like probably resistant to like most of the elements of the earth and all the other crap.
Right.
And so, you know, they're going to be resistant to your blades and whatnot. Yeah, sure they bleed, but they can shrug it right off.
Yeah.
And, you know,
by the way, guys, we're talking about 4 Ultimate, not the baby game generations. All right, we're talking about 4 Ultimate.
Did you just speak that trash?
Oh man! Oh wait! Oh, the video's ruined. I mentioned a baby game.
all right. Let's just keep going.
Right.
But yeah, monsters have super armor in that game, and it's very fair actually. I wouldn't say it's because the monsters don't attack as frequently, because that's some generation stuff. But
right.
but like things about the monsters, they actually signal what they're going to attack sometimes. Like for example, if you're fighting a Xenogre, if you slash at it, then it'll like start charging up, and that'll just like show you that it's gonna either do like the charge attack where it like roars and all the lightning just strikes down, or it's just gonna charge at you. Like it's gonna spark and it's gonna charge at you.
Right, because certain play
there's
styles.
A lot of visual cues in the Monster Hunter series, and they should really get Capcom on those visual cues for some enemies if they're going to keep the super armor in there.
Most definitely. And you know, like it's like you were saying, like, you know, certain playstyles kind of trigger certain monster behaviors, and that's always been very cool to me. You know, like if you're playing a certain way, the monster would kind of like, you know, try to work around that, and that's cool. You know,
you're smart.
Yeah, like, you know, you're using a great sword, you're getting in, say, a Tigrex's face, which, by the way, guys, a Tigrex is a really fast dinosaur, bird, dragon creature thing. But you know, like if you get in the Tigrex's face with a great sword, he'll try to, like, you know, spin around and, you know, kind of maybe spam that a bit to try to keep you off him. You know, like it's the little stuff like that that makes it interesting. You know, you don't have to use super armor as a simple excuse of trying to shake off the player, especially when there's no way they can predict it. Like, you know, there should be like a little there should be like a little flash or something, like, hey, you know, if you hit them within that little point, they're not gonna flinch. You know, something like that. Like you were saying, a visual cue.
Something like in Beautiful Joe. Another Capcom game. There's usually like a little flash before the enemy's about to attack.
Right, so, you know, if you get hit by it, it's your fault, you know? Like, you attacked them anyway, so, you know?
Right, it's not like they can just shrug off you by just doing a basic slash. That's not how it should work.
Yeah, I don't get why they did that. And, you know, I've been playing through some of Breath of the Wild again, and, you know, like, just, you know, see if any of my complaints are actually valid, and surely enough, some of those problems are still there, like the whole, hey, I'm gonna swing like my, you know, my little generic, you know, Boko club, and, you know, oh, you hit me with a great sword, too bad, I'm gonna hit you anyway. Like, why you gotta do that?
Like, my God, this is not Xenoblade, where nobody takes hit stun.
Right. Heck, in Xenoblade, you can actually, you know, activate hit stun. Like, there's some arts that activate it. That would be cool to see, too. Certain moves that Link could pull off that, you know, like, it's guaranteed to make an enemy flinch. But, of course, this would be the more complex combos. The one that you just can't keep spamming, you know?
Yeah. Ones that take execution and hard work.
And, you know, speaking of, you know, like, Kinstone and such, I feel that Capcom can make a system where, you know, you go about the land, you know, you're kind of like sharing, you know, like certain secrets and stuff. Like, one person knows one bit of a secret, and you go around and you find the other person who knows that, and then you can learn a new skill off of that. Like, that would be cool.
Oh, that would be amazing. It'd be like Kinstone's remastered. I can get behind that.
Yeah, that'd be really interesting. You know, maybe you can, like, you know, write, you know, take notes, like, in a little, like, journal, or have, like, a little log where you're keeping track of stuff, and you're just, like, you know, it'd just be really cool. And, you know, like, catch rumors and stuff, and, you know, that way you can learn new skills that way, or by simply, you know, exploring places and just getting new abilities. Like, that works too.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah, Keon, we're going on 44 minutes. You think we should probably wrap this up?
44 minutes, yes, that is a very long time. Yeah, I think it is about time to wrap it up.
Okay, so, yeah, guys, you know, I feel that, you know, like, Capcom's creativity and, you know, Monolith Soft's excellent game design, they could come together. And, Keon, do you have any final thoughts on this?
Monolith Soft plus Capcom. With that collaboration, we get the new Zelda game, and with that new Zelda game, we should get stuff like the Monado. It's just like a little gag weapon. The Monado and like the Sea Emperor's greatsword.
Let's make use of some amiibo, shall we?
Yeah. Also, Monolith Soft. If one of your people ever somehow, some way, through some black magic, watch this video, please get Capcom to put in the Monado and Monster Hunter in the new Monster Hunter game.
Yes, please. And second gen. Put it in World and second gen. All right. make it
World and second gen.
Oh wait, crap! They can't do that. Xenoblade is Nintendo.
Oh, yeah. Well, just put it in second gen. There we go.
Yeah, put it in second gen. All right. If you somehow see this video, We are professionals. We know what we're talking about.
Oh man, this is Team Deora. Yeah.
Oh yeah, also Team DR. I know this is really it's a subliminal message. And by the way, guys, if it seems like we're a little bit off, it is you know, as it might come to your attention, summer is fast approaching, and I am losing it in this heat. So there is that too. So if it seems like we've been a little off, well, you know why. Especially since I can't activate my other fan because it would be too loud. But yeah, guys, let's stop getting sidetracked. I'm RoberOnocle, or as you know me, Rob, and this was Keon, and we will see you guys next time.
See you.